we're sitting here,
Yeah.
and right behind you is the iconic 24 car, which everybody knows the history of that car prior to you getting in it, and now you're in it. But your path to get there, it was a little bit different than most.
Yeah, I started racing on iRacing, which is kind of unique and very different than other guys start racing. You know, I didn't run go-karts as a kid. I didn't really grow up in a racing family, so I was just so passionate about racing in general that I wanted to get involved in the driving side of it. And that came later when I was 14 or 15 years old, but thankfully I had iRacing to use as a platform to get started and hone my skills.
William Byron's a great story from our perspective because, I'll be honest, we didn't know anything about him. He was the one that told the story about how he used iRacing at home and was proving to be really good at it, and his dad took notice and said, you know what, why don't we get a Legends car and we'll go try this for real.
That bump in turn one, that bump is, I mean, that's right where it is on the racetrack.
I mean, most of the track layout stuff's exactly the same, which is really helpful if you're going to the racetrack for the first time.
So the simple fact that we're shifting, that's kind of, like I wouldn't have guessed that we would have had to do that when we started this, based on the video games I've played in the past. There's iRacing and there's video games. What's generally the difference between the two?
Yeah, so iRacing's more of a simulator. It's not as much of a game, I think. They always say that, you know, guys that race iRacing all the time want to say how it's a simulator, not a game.
We are not a video game. You know, Gran Turismo, Forza, you buy one of those games in the store, you take it home and you run it on your console, you're gonna play that for 20 or 30 hours. What's really unique about our product is that people spend hundreds of hours on our product because it's not easy.
It's really more of a tool. It's kind of like a flight simulator. It's more of something you use to hone your skills at a higher level instead of just going on there and picking up a controller.
Oh, you ran me up the track.
That was a pretty good race.
What was different from the iRacing in terms of when you got loose or when you got tight when you were in the real car?
Honestly, in some ways it was easier. And that sounds crazy, but you could feel the car more.
That doesn't sound crazy. It makes me kind of curious, though.
Yeah, you could feel the car more, and in person I had that extra, or I had extra skills to use or extra senses to kind of use in the car. So my sense of smell you don't have on iRacing, and your sense of, I guess, feel and danger and fear factor is not there.
I guess the fact that you think that the real cars are easier than the iRacing, that tells us why you're having the level of success that you are at this point right now.
Byron jumps to the lead on the restart.
He's so nervous, he knows how close he is to his first win at this moment.
Career win number one for William Byron comes at Iowa. What a night for William Byron.
Towards the end of that season, the announcement's made. You're going to the 24 car.
There was a big announcement earlier this week out of Hendrick Motorsports. 19-year-old William Byron will now occupy that car for the 2018 season.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with hopping in the 24 car.
Driving the Cup car itself is obviously a challenge, but I knew, you know, I just trusted my instinct, kind of trusted what I've done to get to this point. So, you know, the boss didn't really put that much pressure on me. Mr. Hendrick kind of told me to just go out there and make sure I can learn this year. You were running, that was like you ran half second faster than you ever did. Right there.
That's your way of saying bless his heart before you say you suck. When you look at iRacing and you look at the impact it had on your career, and yes, you had to go learn the driving aspect of it, but it's what kind of got you started. What role do you think it's going to play in kids coming up through in the future?
I think it's huge. I think it's probably the next innovation for racing, or I think there's going to be more data, more chances to understand what's happening inside the race car. And I think where you see that in F1 is guys, they're taking them off the development teams and putting them right into the real cars just because of the data they see that they're able to produce. So I think you're going to understand who has talent, who doesn't, a lot quicker, and that's going to make for iRacing to be a bigger platform.
Tomorrow night we will crown the SSCA Cup champion right here on the GSRC, but before that we get to take a look at the future stars of the sport as the drivers of the SSCA AdPro 360 Challenger Series take to the track for one final time in 2018 to crown the champion of their own. Who's it going to be? Well, we're about to find out here at Homestead. Hello fans and welcome to the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman and joining me in the booth tonight, and as always, is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes all season long we have had our director Joe Peak using camera sets provided by the one and only Dougie Beard. Sean, this is essentially the XFINITY Series for this league, and so many of the drivers that we see racing for the championship here this year could very well be fighting for the SSCA Cup Championship next season. We have 4 drivers here ready to duke it out for the championship, and as always, the battleground is Homestead.
Sam, it is, and you know they opened this track back in the end of 1995, November 3rd to be exact. You know, the racing here didn't start off really good in its early history, so they redesigned the track in 2003. They dumped a lot of money into it. They gave us what we have today, is basically this flat 6 degrees, the transformations of the track, but the 18 to 20 degrees of variable banking system in the turns. Why does this make it a great place for the championship, Sam? Because you have multiple grooves of racing. We talked about it a little bit in the pre-race. This track, you can run right up, down, or right down on the bottom line, on that white line, all the way around. The grip not as good down there. The car very free, wants to come all the way up to the wall on your exits, or you can run up around the rim of this track, not feet from the wall, but literally inches from the wall. That's where the speed is, carrying that momentum through the turns. Sam, as you look at the 1005 palm trees they put in this track as you drive by it, almost 200 miles an hour, the best way to get a look is on board with another GSRC lap around Homestead, Miami Speedway.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around Homestead, Miami Speedway in the GSRC Camaro. I'm starting on pit road because it's a pretty unique experience here at Homestead. So, coming right off of pit road, grab a gear, let it roll through here. And really the tricky part is there's no banking down here, so you really have to be patient with the throttle, let the car roll all the way through here, get back onto the gas right after that grass ends, grab high gear, go through some of the dust that's on the track, and get on your lap. Homestead it drives like no other 1.5 mile speedway. It is something all special to itself. I'm going to show you just how to get around here. So coming out to turn 4, let it float up here towards the wall. Make sure not to hit it across the line. Here we go. You're going to turn in right at about that light on the wall. Let it float here. Don't try to catch the very bottom of the track. Find that seam right there where you see the 2 different colors of pavement. There's a bump right on the exit of turn 2 that you have to keep an eye on as well. It really makes the car upset. Down here into turn 3, let off right about that white line on the track. Float it down here to the bottom. And then it's really going to be weird because you get back onto the gas and you're aiming at the wall, but you don't want to hit it, but that's where the fast times are. And then across the line to complete your hot lap. Now, this is where Homestead gets unique. On pit entry, you have to follow that same road around just like you did on pit exit. So here you go. You're coming off at turn 2. You got a big head of steam. You're telling your fellow drivers, hey, I'm pitting. Get it right down here. Throw it down into third. Let the transmission kind of slow you down. Keeps it under control. Hug this left part of the access road. Maybe float out in the middle. Get onto the gas just a little bit. Then hard onto the binders right there. Get it down to 50 miles an hour and you're on pit road. This will complete your track guide around the Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And we are back from another bad, fast trip around Miami Homestead Speedway. Tonight, the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Dirty Air Studios, of course, an iRacing media production company. They provide top-of-the-line professional video, graphics, pictures, and paint jobs for all things sim racing. Visit them over on Facebook. Just type Dirty Air Studios into that search bar at the very top center of the page there on Facebook or on your phone, however you access it. But go check out Dirty Air Studios, and well, might even want to go check. I believe someone might be streaming over there right now from in car, but I wasn't given an update. But that's how you get there. And Sam, tonight it's all about getting a good qualifying position, because I really think the clean air is where you're going to want to be here.
Absolutely, especially for our 4 championship contenders, one of which will take home that trophy at the end of the night. Sean, you just introduced us to Miami Homestead Speedway. Let's have a look at our standings, champ.
Well, Sam, not much to look at. It's basically right now what you need is a win here tonight, though, to win the championship. There are the 4 people locked in: Gerald Campbell, Gabriel Wood, Will Davis, and Josh Bonwell. That's the Furious 4, I'm going to call them this evening. They all have a shot. Sam, are they all here? You bet they are. They're ready to go, and qualifying underway. It's actually Gabe Wood, our points leader, going in. Your right now provisional pole sitter, and I think of the 11 cars, I believe it looks like all 10, or not all 10, 10 of the 11 have taken a qualifying time at the moment.
Yeah, the only driver who hasn't is Dre Queen, and he was late to the session. He actually didn't turn a lap during practice either, so we'll wait to see if we see the 79 on track at all. Yeah, you mentioned all 4 championship contenders here, Sean. They were the top 4 fastest in practice, and currently in qualifying they hold down the top 3 spots. The one driver who did not fare too well in qualifying was Will Davis. He is one of those 4 racing for that trophy. He was the slowest qualifier. We'll have his work cut out for him tonight, starting towards the back of the field, it looks like. Let's take a look at what these drivers are going to have to deal with for the final race of their 23-round season, 7th round of the playoffs. All the points, of course, as you just saw, have been evened out for our final 4 championship runners. As we mentioned, this is essentially the XFINITY Series for the AdPro guys. This is the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, so they're racing the Chevy Camaro, the Ford Mustang, and let's ignore the Toyota logo because I don't actually see any Toyota haulers here today. Fixed setups for these drivers. They'll have 5 sets of tyres throughout the race. Well, let's say 20 tyres actually. You can always take 2 tyres if you want and save yourself a couple for later on during the event. If you cause an incident, you have to restart from the back of the field. If you cause 2 incidents, you will be penalised. If there's an incident in the final few laps, we will go to a green-white checkered. Your champion will take the checkered flag under green flag conditions tonight.
One way or the other, a champion will be crowned this evening. Gabe Wood again on that provisional pole. We've still got a little over 5 minutes left here in the qualifying session before we actually get to the grid, and doesn't look like Jay Queen's going to take that top spot. But Gabe Wood didn't just get the pole by a little bit. Sam, a full 10th. That could mean trouble on the start for the rest of these competitors. He gets out to a good jump. It could be it could be church early. Yeah, we are stage racing this evening, but Sam, I don't know that that's really any bit of a factor tonight. The biggest factor is going to be taking care of the car, as we saw in the Truck Series, Sam, last week for their championship from Homestead, Miami, the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series. Taking care of the vehicles was a premium. It actually eliminated a couple of contenders for the race as they picked up early damage along the way. That's not something any one of our 4 contenders, especially Will Davis, is going to be starting back there in 10th, is really going to want to deal with.
No, absolutely not. And real difficulty for the 3 drivers who weren't named William Hartman racing for the championship over in the Truck Series was Hartman was absolutely just in control of the field that race all day long. So like you say, the fact that we see Gabe Wood taking qualifying by over 1/10 of a second could be a bit of a concern for Bonwell, Campbell and Davis. But let's not forget also that Wood has only won one oval race this year. He's gotten wins over on the road courses as well, and his oval win came quite controversially at Indianapolis, and even then he only took the checkered flag by 1/1000th of a second. But one thing it doesn't look like you're going to take away from the driver of that 00 tonight is that he is the round 23 winner of the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. For every pole this season, the driver earns $5, and the driver with the most points at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com, which is a great place to order custom button boxes as well as to buy and sell used equipment. And for more information on that, you can go to simspeedshop.com. I don't think, Sean, we always discuss here what kind of button would we like if I got my hands on a Sim Speed Shop, button box. I always think of what magical buttons I could have in front of me to help make my race easier. One button I would like to have is a button telling me about the weather conditions, and you mentioned it just a bit ago. It's quite cool conditions out there, should create some good racing. I don't think there's a button for it, though.
There isn't, Sam, but it's certainly something I'm going to look at in my info tab as I get ready to race this event tonight. Sam, the conditions very favorable. It goes back to what I was talking about when I was talking about the track here in the open of the show. I really think that the 82-degree temperature, which we know will go up some over the course of the race, I really think that's going to lend to a multiple groove racetrack tonight. That's going to be really, really fast for all these drivers. I mean, listen, Sam, the qualifying times, I think, say it all. We're talking low 30-second laps here around a very, very large Homestead Miami Speedway. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fast. And honestly, with the limited field we've got, it could be wide open for a long time. So, I honestly, during practice, I didn't see a lot of cars getting out of shape off the exits. Everybody seemed to be pretty cautious about what they were doing. This could be really competitive tonight.
Yeah, one thing our viewers may have noticed when we had our weather graphic pulled up there is that the winds are a little bit variable, so we'll wait to see if that affects the drivers out there today. We're entering the limited field, Sean. It looks like we might be starting this race with 10. If not, maybe we'll see 11 starters for this race. A small field, but that being said, quite a talented field as well. None of these are new names to us. All drivers who we've seen multiple times this season, and many of them are race winners. And for the record, the trend we have been keeping an eye on all season long, that there's been no back-to-back winner this season, it will continue. We will complete all 23 rounds this year with no back-to-back winner, because Ryan Hill, the driver who won the last race, is not here tonight.
Well, yeah, and Sam, it's been a long season. That's pretty amazing that we haven't seen anybody pull that off this season. I'm a bit surprised with that. Nobody really ever got on a tremendous run, if you will, except Gabe Wood, who was really consistent. He just, the wins on the oval side, like you talked about, were his big Achilles heel. Still comes into this. You got the most points, and I would say right now, based on qualifying time, practice speed, he's definitely the guy to beat. So Gabe's been strong all season, but I don't know that he ever got on a dominant run, and other drivers around him did a good job of staying in this chase this season, Sam.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look down the starting order here, trying to count the exact number of our 10 starters that have won a race this season. I would say it's only half. We've got a pretty stout field here today. And you see checkered flag is out in qualifying. It's going to run down 30 more seconds for anyone who's on the lap. But no one is on the lap. So let's go ahead, actually, and take a look at our starting order here. Gabe Wood and Josh Bonwell will be starting on the front row. Two other drivers who could walk out of Homestead tonight a champion.
All right, Sam, row 2 is going to be a former winner this season, Gerald Campbell, and Kyle Kammer on his outside there in 4.
Yeah, Campbell, a third one of those playoff drivers. Kammer has not had a win this season, nor has a driver starting behind him. Robert McFarland in 5th place. Trey Galgon, he has made it to victory lane. He'll be starting 6th. Got to make up 5 spots if he wants to take home another one tonight.
All right, and then we've got Ray Richer on row 4 there, the inside. The number 44 will start there in 7th. Eric Stanford, a former winner this season. Eric won at Texas all the way back in April, and he is going to start in 8th in the number 19.
John Theodore will be starting 9th place, and the slowest driver in qualifying, albeit only by a few tenths of a second, is Will Davis, our 4th and final of our championship hopefuls on the grid. And Jay Queen is actually gridding up, Sean.
He is, yes.
Carfield.
Former Ellery Queen, Jay Queen, going to be starting this race tonight. Who knows, man? He may find lightning in a bottle and get that number 79 to the front. Play spoiler in this whole thing for it's all said and done with.
And car's getting gridded up on pit road right now. Only one missing is Robert McFarland. Might be making a last couple of adjustments. And then once we see him get gridded up in his 41 car, and there he is, field will start rolling off. Just one pace lap here at Homestead, Miami, with it being a 1.5 mile track. Let's take a look at our race analysis here. We'll do one pace lap, then we'll do 132, hopefully, green flag laps. Well, as many of them as possible. We do know we'll have those 2 stage cautions. And fuel, normally not a concern for the opening 2 stages, Sean, but the way the series sets up their stages, you always have to pit 1 time under green in that final stage. Oh, maybe under yellow if it falls right.
I'm excited about this one, Sam. Ready to go here. Like I alluded to a moment ago, it has been a long season. It's been a fun season. We've seen a lot of excitement. We've seen a lot of close finishes, a lot of great battles on track, a lot of tremendous sponsors along the way. Tonight, the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here, Homestead, Miami Speedway. We do it one last time, Sam, you and me together here.
And for one last time this season for the SSCA AdPro 360 Challenger, guys. For those about to race, we salute you because they're on the front straight, they're on the loud pedal, and we are racing here at Homestead. Gabe Wood leads them away. Gerald Campbell in a very similarly painted car, also on the inside, looking underneath of Josh Bonwell into turn 1.
Oh boy, is Campbell really looking, man. He threw it up in there right inside of Bonwell. Got it really tight, really close, side by side, down the back stretch, into
Of course, if anything bad happens up front, that's good news for Will Davis, who's all the way at the back. It's basically whichever one of those 4 finishes highest tonight becomes champion. Gabe Wood leading lap number 1. Bonwell up to 2nd, ahead of Campbell. And let's not forget, though, we've got about 6 or 7 other drivers out there who just are here for the win. Carl Kemmer holding station in 4th.
Sam Robert McFarland has dropped 3 spots already. He's moved to that higher line that we talked about. Actually, now he's going back down towards the bottom. So Robert struggling right now with trying to get settled, and it has cost him 3 spots as we've got a battle up just in front of him there between Stanford and Davis.
And Stanford and Galgan. Stanford got a good run out of turn 4. I don't think he's going to be able to clear Galgan. In fact, Galgan is able to hold on just a little bit ahead for 5th place, but Stanford once again throwing it in on entry, and knowing that on those new tyres and with these low track temperatures, those tyres will hold for now. But while he's not able to complete the pass, that could be hurting him. Now we might be about to see a Stanford and Davis battle. Maybe,
Sam. Stanford seems to have found the way, but I don't know, down the backstretch seems to lose that momentum just a little bit.
Remember, right now we're just racing the lap 33. That's when we know the first caution will fly to end the opening stage. For our championship hopefuls, of course, doesn't matter where they're running at the end of the first stage. Doesn't matter where they're running at the end of lap 31. All that matters is where they are at the end of lap 132. Lap slide, of course, also does not make a difference to them.
Yeah, Eric Stanford back here definitely trying a few things. Some work, some don't, but that all results in him usually losing the momentum. Now he seems to have found it here. Might be a threat on Galgan. He's going to stick up to the higher part of the track.
Good battle going on for second place here between Bonwell and Campbell. They can't fight each other too hard though, Sean. They got to keep an eye on the big picture, which is the lead right now. Gabe Wood, if they battle too hard, they could allow him to run away.
They could, or they could wreck their cars, Sam. And with 126 laps still left to go, not a good time to pull that car out, which will result in needing to go in and get repaired. And both drivers running a little bit different line here between Bonwell and Campbell.
It's Trey Galgan and Will Davis, you still saw side by side there in the back. Davis, of course, trying to work his way up from 10th on the grid. He's made it up to 6th now in the opening 7 laps of a race. It's about one car every 2 laps.
Yeah, it's a good move he put on Galgan. Now he's going to go under Eric Stanford, who's riding that higher line right now. Let's see if Stanford gets that momentum off the top. You see that? He does. Car rode really, really well up there near the wall. Stanford going to battle still with him here, side by side in the middle of the turn at the end of the track.
Oh, Stanford washing out a little bit there, though, on the exit of 4, and Davis will take a position. So, our 4 championship contenders now running in the top 5. The only one splitting them up, Kyle Kemmer, having a solid race so far in 4th place. And when I say solid race, it is a pretty decent race for all of our top 4. They're all within a second of another.
Yeah, they definitely things started, I think, the way you'd like to see them start, especially if you're driving in this. We talked about the premium of taking care of the cars. It's a good sign here early. The battle for second, though, continues, Sam.
Yeah, Campbell now has Bonwell cleared as they go down the back straight. Move the 6 car up into second place. Still, while these two battle, they're only half a second back of our race leader. So if Campbell's able to break away from the 56, maybe he'll be able to run that double naught car down. Got a long ways to go, but I'm sure it'd be a good momentum builder if he could take the stage win.
Sam, a couple cars have dropped off from the pack just a bit. Jay Queen, Ray Richard kind of riding this thing. Richard down 3 spots, actually. So just taking himself out of the battle and just trying to run this thing clean here at this point.
Yeah, Homestead can be a tricky track for some drivers here, Sean. I know personally it's not my favourite track. I'm kind of fortunate I've never been involved in the playoff scenario here. Or maybe that's unfortunate for me. Normally knocked out by then. But you know, it's different, isn't it? It's not your normal 1.5 mile speedway.
No, it's not, because you can make sacrifices. Well, I talked about either being able to run right down on that bottom groove, but it comes with a sacrifice, or running up near the wall, which also could come with a sacrifice, because let's face it, whereas there seems to be a lot of grip up there, if you're not careful, you can knock down that wall and bring damage to the car, hurt the aero, and really be slow, as we see a battle going on for P4, Sam. Will Davis, Kyle Kammer.
Yeah, Will Davis wants to get up there with the people he's racing for the championship, and he might have the opportunity to do that because Kemmer's way out of a groove. Davis up to 4th, and the 4 cars with the orange trim. And I wonder if they considered the fact this race would be right before Halloween when they picked orange for these guys to run with in the playoffs. Well, they are now running 1, 2, 3, and 4. And of course, although that sounds like a good day when you're in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, it's not championship positions there for Campbell, Bonwell, and Davis. They're all chasing Wood. However, Sean, I want to start keeping an eye on Gabe Wood now. Yes, he's leading by half a second. He's been there all race long. But we have seen races from him like this season where he's just been dominating out front, and I don't know if he's a bit hard on his tyres and his competitors, but he always seems to be one of those drivers who finds the wall during the long run. That's something he can't afford to do tonight.
No, can't afford to do at all, Sam. Lot riding on the line when you've got one shot at winning the championship. I don't want to be Captain Obvious or anything here. Try Galgan making a move back here again, trying to get this position from Stanford. And Stanford's been really consistent with riding up there, Sam.
Yeah, he has. So far, it's hard to tell if it's paying off for him or not. He's made it up 2 spots, but he's got half a field in front of him, half a field behind him.
He's tracking Camera at the moment. He's faster. He's closing on Camera. But really, it's Will Davis that's really shown a lot of muscle here early, getting himself already in the top 4. You talked about it a moment ago, Sam. That car looks awful strong here early, and he is riding basically in the middle of the track.
So, field now working their way. We're already halfway through this opening stage. Gabe Wood has been leading all of it, but as we mentioned, that could count for naught by the time it gets to the end of the event. So right now, race orders: Gabe Wood, Gerald Campbell, Josh Bromwell, Will Davis and Carl Kemmer in the top 5. Eric Stanford, Trey Gelgan, Robert McFarlane, John Theodore, Ray Richer rounding out the top 5. Trey Queen out there without much practice, running around in last and 11th, but he's still doing a decent pace, Sean, and at that rate he should be able to hold on to the lead lap. Try again in stage number 2.
Yeah, well, the size of this track lends to having a little bit of cushion to work with here. You know, going back to the 4th place position, I talked about Eric Stanford being a little bit faster. Things have started to level off a bit, and I wonder if it's just a small difference in tires here leveling out for both of the drivers. Cammer really likes that high line. He likes staying in that high groove. Stanford has been experimenting a little bit with getting down into the middle of the track and then riding it up near the wall. So a couple of different lines at play there, but it hasn't helped Stanford yet. He hasn't been able to get a run.
Well, it looks like the next battle we're going to see out on track here, Sean, is for 3rd place. In fact, it might be coming up right now because Bonwell is way up high in the corners. I wouldn't say he's out of a racing groove, but judging by the fact Davis has run him down like he has, I don't think it's really working for him. And now, sure enough, we see as they go through 3 and 4, Bonwell tries to go down low.
Yeah, sure, as I started talking about that battle back there, it's on, Sam. I don't want to jump away from that battle, but Stanford now putting the move on Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron was really up high in turns 3 and 4, and paid off for Stanford. He's able to pull out ahead, and now Cameron will try and go back down low. Unless he really throws it in here, I'm not sure if he's... Yeah, I don't think it's going to work for him. Although, it might mind you, Stanford gets out of the groove on the exit.
And Stanford actually got a little bit tight there, Sam. A good job of catching the car. He had to get out of the throttle. It came at a little bit of a cost. He had to get out of the throttle. Camera going to go all the way back towards the top.
Yeah, see a battle going on behind them too. So, as we're getting late into the run here, definitely seeing drivers experiment with different lines, because Bonwell is still going really high in turns 1 and 2 over in 4th place. And even though Davis has caught him, he hasn't been able to pass him yet. See things really getting close here as we're entering the closing moments of stage number 1. And while there's a battle on for 4th, there's a battle on for 5th. Both of those 2 cars deep. We have a 4-way battle for 7th place here. Galgan, McFarlane, Theodore and Richard.
Yeah, and the 41 there, Robert McFarlane, having a close moment out of 4, Sam. The rear end of that car steps out a little bit. His tires starting to fall off and getting a little greasy up there around the top of the track.
He's only got to hold on to them for a few more laps around here at the Homestead Miami circuit. All these drivers, I'm sure, taking notes. That's really all you can do right now if you're Campbell, Bonwell and Davis, because Gabe Wood...
McFarlane got to run that time, Sam.
Yeah, we're watching the battle for 7th here. Galgan lifting the bit, allowing McFarlane to get under him.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe... Ooh, Theodore having a little bit of a moment there. He had to check up himself. Galgan was getting off the corner. Theodore can't hold it down there. He's trying to make a move on Galgan, but he can't hold it, Sam. The car is pushing like a dump truck on him right now.
McFarlane and Galgan still holding on ahead of this battle, with Theodore and Richard right behind them. Entering the closing stages of entering the closing laps of stage number 1. Now, of course, all these drivers who have been eliminated from the playoffs will still be racing for stage points, try and beat each other there for 5th, 6th, and into the wall goes McFarlane, able to hold it. He grazes the wall on both sides, but keeps it pointing straight.
Well, we've got a replay of that, Sam. That is definitely worth another look. And McFarlane, you're going to see he's going to make contact with this safer barrier up top here, Sam. And then the car is just going to ricochet right down off that wall back across the track in front of the traffic, obviously. He's going to smack this inside retaining wall again. So he scuffed up both sides of the car, probably hurt the aero, and, well, now finds himself back in 10th, and he's already lost 2 seconds on Ray Richard.
As we go back to live action, you see the 4-way battles being reduced to a 3-way battle, but still hot and heavy.
Yeah, Sam, and John Theodore all of a sudden is looking a little racy here. He's picked up a couple of spots here late, albeit one of those because McFarlane out of that mix, but he's got himself in front of Galgan now. And Galgan's going to try and take this spot back here.
So this battle still on, with Theodore ahead of Galgan, ahead of Richard, running out of time and miles. Remember, they're all going to want to come in for 4 tyres in a few laps' time when we get our stage 1 caution. They're all going to want track position. They're trying to break away from the drivers they're currently running, see how much higher they can move up.
All right. You know, I just went up to look at Kyle Campbell. All right, here we are on Campbell. There we go. He is still hanging on to the second spot. Bonwell close, but not close enough. The battle behind them is still strong, though. Cameron still fighting off the advances of Eric Stanford. Stanford, it's a battle of two different lines. It still is. It has been for many, many laps now. Neither one of them willing to give up on this spot, this run for fifth. Up ahead of them, things settled down just a bit. It's still Campbell, Bonwell, and Davis. Is Stanford going to look to the bottom or going to stay right on the bumper here? Going to drop down, try and get a run here out of turn 2. Not quite enough. Not quite enough. Cameron's still a little bit stronger off that top side of the track as they scream down the back stretch. Stanford just stuck in the wake. It's what the dirty air does. It creates that push. Doesn't allow him to get much of an opportunity. Can he hang on to it here? Is it enough? It's a good run, but he's going to be side by side going into one, and that's where they've been before. Oh, we caught a caution. Yeah, it's the end of the stage. Lost track of my laps there because why? Sean doesn't do good math. Gabe Wood, your winner of this first stage, which, listen, folks, tonight the stages are really the same as last week if you're with us in the Sim Speed Shop Truck Series. These are just breaks. These are just planned caution flags. But we did a good job. We got through that first stage. 33 laps, no cautions. We had a couple of close moments, but Gabe Wood did start to pull away there at the end. Gerald Campbell, second. Will Davis, third. And Josh Bonwell with a strong fourth. And Stanford and Cameron had their nice little battle there. So there we go. Now we wait for everybody to cycle around in behind the pace car. And the pits are open. I expect everybody to come on down pit road now here. Not much guesswork involved. You want 4 fresh Goodyears and a full can of Sunoco fuel. Sam had to step away for just a few minutes, but we got this. We're good. We're coming down pit road. Gabe Wood leads him in very, very carefully there. Everybody gets checked in behind him nicely. No real problems for anyone so far. This race off of pit road, as we saw in the start of the race, going to be very important to stay up front. Gabe Wood's got to be careful here. Hit his marks. Gets in, slides it into his stop. Nice stop there for Gabe Wood. Right side's up quick. Josh Bonwell struggling behind him, though, in that number 2 pit stall. He had to back the car up. Bonwell is going to be slow. Going to lose his opportunity. First car to pull out, Will Davis. But the first car out is Gabe Wood with a great pit stop. And then a battle just behind him. I believe Stanford's going to win that. And he'll get out third.
Bonwell really lost a lot of positions through that, Sean, though. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up in stage number 2. We'll be starting in just a couple of moments here on GSRC. We're going to take a quick break and be back for the restart. Isn't it nice when we have all the cars on the lead lap? We have quick cautions. We're already back and ready for the restart. However, we may be about to lose one car. Robert McFarland still in it. Pit road getting repairs as the field about to come to green. Gabe Wood down low. Will Davis up high.
Boy, they're scrambling 3 wide, almost trying to make it 3 wide behind him, Sam. Campbell really pushing there.
Yeah, Davis losing momentum on the high side. Oh, and Davis gets turned by Campbell. Able to save it. We stay green. But that's going to be a bit of damage to 2 of our playoff contenders.
Will Davis picks up quite a bit of damage, Sam. That car is hurt. I see damage on the left front. He's buckled the fender.
So that was Gerald Campbell getting into the back of Will Davis. 2 of our playoff contenders. The other 2 being Gabe Wood, currently leading this race, and Bonwell, who's currently now riding around in 5th.
There's a little bit of damage on Campbell's car too. I think he came out the better of the 2. Let's look at the replay of this real quick, Sam.
Yes, there we go. It happened on the restart. Campbell restarted in 4th right behind Davis, who didn't really get off to a good restart. And there was definitely contact between them.
Yeah, definitely. Boy, Ray Richard does a good job of not door slamming Will Davis there as he was going by. Boy, right now it's Theodore battling with Campbell, but he's going to let him go. Theodore gets Campbell by, but let's not discount the run that Theodore's having this evening. John's up to 5th.
Of course, this is good news for Gabe Wood. I mean, I know Campbell and Davis are still out there on track, and Bonwell was able to get by unscathed, but now Stanford is in 2nd and Galgan is in 3rd. Not a whole lot of championship contention from behind Wood right now.
No, there's not, Sam. You bring up a great point. How about Eric Stanford? A great restart for this 2nd stage has got him in 2nd. He started this race in 8th, and 3rd is really up for grabs right now as Bonwell's got his hands full here with Gerald Campbell. Or I'm sorry, Bonwell and Trey Galgan. My bad there, folks. That's the 2nd time I've done that this evening for the same 2 drivers. I don't know why I keep blowing that. And Bonwell still trying to get this pass moved off on Galgan. Couple of Fords there battling out. It's not happening. He gets a good run, hanging it right behind his bumper, but that's where the push is. That wash, not good. I think Sam gonna have to step away for just a bit on us again. That's all right. We're here. We're mean. We're green. This is a great battle though for the 3rd spot. It's Bonwell now closer than he's been. He gets a beautiful run down the straightaway. Now all of a sudden Gerald Campbell a factor in this, and not only does Bonwell have to worry about what's in front of him, he's got to worry about what's right behind that splitter, and a little loose off the turn. Bonwell has to catch it. Now he drops to the inside. Bonwell riding that white line down there on the bottom I talked about. The car wants to run up the track near that wall. He's got to tighten it up just a bit. Keeps the battle strong here along Galgan. Now he's going to clear him for just a moment, but Galgan should get the momentum back here from that middle groove. It'll be a race off the turn, down the straightaway, and Galgan holds position that time by. And this is the one side-by-side battle we've got going on track at the moment. Bonwell still trying to get this settled. He'd like to get to work on maybe trying to go catch Eric Stanford. He needs the clean air to do it. He's not getting any help here from Trey Galgan, who's fighting as hard as we've seen him fight all season in that Copper Hill Ford Mustang.
And as these two fight, this is allowing Gerald Campbell, his championship rival, back in, trying to make up for that contact that he had with Will Davis at the start of his second stage. And boy, Bonwell getting a little dancey out there off of turn 2.
Sam, Gabe Wood's going to catch Robert McFarland here real soon. McFarland struggled to get damage repaired, but he's about to go a lap down, I'm afraid.
It's definitely not the race McFarland was looking for. Remember, he was in the pits when this second stage started. He was still able to hold on to the lead lap though, but only just. He's going to hope for a quick caution. Problem is, Sean, it's been quite clean out there so far.
It has. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm not going to make any excuses for it. It's been great racing so far. So, yeah, we'll see. You know, Campbell is still on the charge here. Now Galgan looking at maybe having to give up another spot here after he just finishes this fight that he had for, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 laps with Bonwell. Bonwell is starting to pull away. Again, the value of that clean air and being able to get away from it. Bonwell on a really solid run. Hats off to him after struggling in the pit stop and losing a lot of time there. He makes advantage of it here. Galgan behind them, going to run up the track. This opens the door somewhat for Gerald Campbell.
Oh, Will Davis in trouble back there. One of our playoff contenders spinning, and there's smoke coming out of that 11 machine.
He towed right out, Sam. He towed right out of it. He took the tow, and that's really gonna. Oh, and we're hearing that may have been a technical issue, Sam, on his end.
Yeah, definitely looked like it from that replay. And that's very unfortunate if it's going to be a hardware issue that cost Davis a shot at this championship. He won at Kentucky. He won at Bristol. He won at Darlington. He's not going to win here tonight.
Boy, that's tough. Especially when it's a hardware failure, right? The best comparison, though, you can give to something such as a critical failure to your race car in real life. And really, it's sad, but that's the type of things that can happen, even in a championship race. Rods break, pistons shear off, you lose compression, valve trains go bad. The 50-cent part, it never fails. Well, it does that day during a championship race. So, yeah, it's a really tough break for Davis, who's still sitting disconnected from this session, and that's a tough one to swallow.
Not even that, Sean. It's saying he's received throughput fail to an unacceptable level, which is iRacing's version of saying sorry. Something is technically wrong, and your connection to the server is not good enough for us to keep you on board at this time. And Will Davis, his championship hopes will come to an end. But certainly a driver who's made an impression this season, Sean, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, if he chooses to race for the SSCA Cup Championship next season, he's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on.
Oh, absolutely. The only problem is that it won't be the SSCA Cup Championship next season. It'll be the Podium Esports Championship there, Sam. Sorry, I was just pointing that out as we watch the battle for fourth continue. We're not necessarily the battle, but Trey Galgan trying to stem the tide here. Is he, again, over the last 15 laps or so, he's had to see Josh Bonwell and Gerald Campbell both clear him.
Yeah, and as we watch Kama running down Theodore here for 6th place, and actually he's got a real nice run on him as they come up here to turn 1. Gonna look underneath. It might work actually. He's able to get in the entry.
I know he's fighting the push. Camera is, but boy, he does a really good job of making it stick there on the bottom.
But I wanted to make note here, Sean, that despite the fact that we've seen, you know, a couple of our championship contenders not do too hot today, our 3 remaining playoff contenders are all currently running in the top 4 as we see Kama finally pull off his pass for 6th.
Yeah, I mean, they're in it. You know, it's still anybody's championship right now. I know that's very cliche, but it's really true. And this right now, the best battle we got going on track here is Cameron and Theodore continue to go at it. They've crossed each other over a couple times, Sam. Now Cameron looking to be maybe having a little bit of advantage here deeper into the run. I think maybe he's done a better job with those tires. Starting to pull a little bit away from John Theodore.
Worth noting, when the last 10 laps of stage number 2, lap number 66 is when the yellow will fly again, if not before then for an incident. Again,
Sam,
no bonus points for these playoff contenders. Just trying to be up front on lap number 132. And right now, Sean, at this rate, that looks like where Gabe Wood is going to end up.
Sam, just a quick update on Will Davis. We're hearing that his system froze up, and it's not even currently letting him back in the iRacing session. So really unfortunate for Davis. Now doesn't even have an opportunity to get back in, and at the rate of caution flags we've seen this evening, one for the end of the stage, I would say it's an impossibility at this point for any chance Will Davis winning this championship.
Will Davis out of this race. The only drive out of this race while the problem is, though, Sean, not only is it seeming a bit of an impossibility for Will Davis to win this championship, but Bonwell and Campbell are going to have to make something happen too. I mean, we saw Gabe Wood win stage 1 by a couple of seconds. Right now, he doesn't have a huge lead over Stanford. It's only 1 second, but then again, it doesn't matter if Stanford beats Wood.
But he's got a tremendous lead over Bonwell and Campbell, and let's face it, those two, Campbell's had to drive, has had to drive up through the field, and it's been a long trek for him, and he had picked up a little damage along the way, so it's been tough sledding. Bonwell, who's pretty much stayed out of trouble, has had a couple of battles. He had to clear some traffic. He had to get around Galgan before. That was a long fight. All of it cost him time to Gabe Wood. Stanford really the only one who's been able to keep it close, and it's, quite frankly, it's not that close. So Stanford even starting to fall off a little bit here deep into the run.
But Stanford has been picking up speed all night long, Sean. I mean, he was the slowest car in practice. He only qualified 8th, yet now we're here in the race and he's running up there in 2nd place.
Yeah, Sam, the Red Dog is got the Red Dog Chevy got a little bit of muscle this evening. Of course, we know he's not competing for the championship. Could he be the spoiler tonight? Could he be the one that wins this race and sends it to well, best finish of the championship contenders? He is starting. You know what? He is starting to close on Campbell a little bit here, deep into the run. In fact, he was only just under a tenth. About just under a tenth. It's still very, very close between these two.
The tyres, by the way, if tyre wear does become a factor in the final stage, Sean, considering 30 laps from now, you know, we'll be right around pit stop time in stage number 3 if it goes green the whole time. The lap times we're seeing because of a tyre wear, they're about 1.5 seconds off of what the drivers were doing at the start of the run.
Yeah, I think that's about right, Sam. We look right now, and Ray Richer's starting to get a little bit of a run on John Theodore. First time we've seen Richer actually get a little bit racy here. Richer was, Theodore was moving up, Sam, but honestly now he's fallen prey here to Ray Richer. May have burned up his tires a little bit too early.
But they've only got 1 lap left to resolve this, Sean, as we're on the final lap of stage number 2 now. And Kama's moved up into 5th place by Galgan. This is the one remaining battle I see on track. Meanwhile, though, Gabe Wood going to come out of turn 4. He leads the opening 2 stages. Will he be able to seal the deal and seal the championship in stage number 3? We've got 60 laps left to find out and 2 rounds of pit stops. First round of pit stops about to come out momentarily as the stage 2 caution flies. Sean?
Stage 2 in the book, Sam. 1 stage left to go in this season, which has been so exciting. And again, we come to a pit stop right here now at the end of the 2nd stage, and no guesswork really involved. These drivers, all they have to do right now is get settled in behind the pace car, get ready to pull off in orderly fashion. The pace car coming out at the exit of turn 2. And our race leader, Gabe Wood, going to catch up to that pace car right behind this wheel and light bar. The double aught has been mighty this evening. The Double H Ranch Chevrolet Camaro. A serious fun camp. That's what it says on the side of the car. He needs a serious good pit stop right here. Stanford right behind him pulling in. Josh Bonwell. Joe Campbell. Kyle Kammer. Lead him in. McFarland's got to stay on track because he's lost that lap. Gabe Wood leads him down just like he did last time here. Again, these pit stops so very, very critical. Got to hit your box, hit your marks. Don't overshoot it. Gabe Wood slides in. Bonwell has trouble again on the pit entry. Has to back the car up. Finally gets the right sides up on the jack. Our leader, Gabe Wood, now up on the jack for the left sides. McFarland getting out quick. It's going to be racing the line, and I think Stanford, Eric Stanford. I'm making too many mistakes here. Stanford, though, winning this race off of pit road. The Red Dog Mustang leads him off and back on to the backstretch. We'll go to a quick break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be back for the start of Stage 3 in a moment.
So for the first time tonight, Gabe Wood doesn't look like he's going to be in control of the field on this one, Sean, but he's still ahead of his championship rivals.
Yeah, Stanford with a great pit stop there. We'll see how much of a difference starting down on this bottom groove will actually make. Again, Stanford's got to get clear Wood, and he's got to get out in the clean air for it to really be useful. We're about to see.
We are about to see indeed. So Stanford progressively has been working his way up towards the front. Now he's finally found himself there. Can he stay there? Of course, the likes of Wood and Campbell and Bomwell don't have to win the race to win the championship. They just have to beat their rivals, and that's good news for Wood because he does not get off to a good restart here. Stanford shot out of a cannon. Wood looks like he'll be able to hold on to second. Or maybe not. Kemmer to his inside, and here comes Bonwell.
Yeah, here comes Bonwell. He's got to be careful. He's got John Theodore up there. It's 3 wide down the back stretch. Kemmer on the bottom. Here we go. Sam through the turn.
Bonwell gonna pull out in front, slide up high. He better not overcook this, so there's a blue wall there that he doesn't want to hit, but sure enough, he's able to keep off of that, and Bonwell is up into third place with a nice power move down the back straight.
Blue wall, blue car right behind him. And now Bonwell is pedaling. Finally gets away from all that mess. He can go get to work on Gabe Wood. That's who he's chasing. Gabe Wood chasing down Stanford. I think we are primed for a position change here at the top.
Well, Wood knows he can't really sit behind him because then that will give Bonwell the opportunity to run him down. Meanwhile, Gerald Campbell is trying to find his way through the hornet's nest back there. He just picked up 5th from Theodore.
Yeah, and Campbell really had to ride through the mess there to get it done. But things starting to look pretty good now. Theodore is going to drop to the bottom here off the rear fender of Gerald Campbell, and then he has to get out of the throttle, and it checks up Trey Galgan.
Stanford continues to lead, but not by much over Wood. Now with Campbell up into 5th place, he'll be trying to find a way by Carl Kemmer very shortly. With Bonwell riding in 3rd, so our championship contenders sit in 2nd, 3rd and 5th right now.
Sam, you talked about the speed that Stanford had in practice, and I don't think it's any great shock that he's leading this race right now. Gabe's having trouble getting around. Why? Dirty air. The wash back there makes it really hard to pull out and get this pass done. And if I'm being honest, Stanford looks like he's protecting that line a little bit. Here we go. Gabe Wood looks to maybe get there, and no. Stanford still got just enough momentum down the backstretch to hold it.
Yeah, normally when you're racing for a championship, you would say, well, Wood surely has to be careful here around Stanford. Stanford's not running for a championship, and Wood is, and sure enough, Stanford's a bit defensive there. But the problem is Wood has to be aggressive because he can't really afford to have Bonwell running down. And here, sure enough, Wood throwing it in very aggressively through turns 1 and 2, but cannot clear Stanford.
Yeah, I think
now we can.
Yeah, now he's going to clear him there into 3.
Although, let's see if Stanford does a counter-attack. Tries to go down the inside into turn 1. No, he doesn't. Just going to ride behind the 0-0 for now. So, Wood, after losing the lead for the first time today, finds himself back up in that top spot.
Okay, now Bonwell's got to get there as quick as he can, Sam. He's got to get to the bumper of Stanford as quickly as possible. He can't let Gabe Wood get out to much more of a lead here. He's doing it too. Bonwell is on the come, baby. He is running.
The interval between our leader and Bonwell in 3rd place, 0.6 of a second right now. Remember, they all still got pit one more time.
Well, Let's go back to Theodore here real quick. Still trying to hold off Trey Galgan. Theodore got a decent restart. He's holding off this pack right now, which is basically you got Jay Queen riding behind Galgan. Queen, I'm trying to remember if he is, I'm looking here, is he still on the lead lap? He is. So Jay Queen still very, very much a factor after struggling early in the first couple of stages. Galgan riding right up on the bumper at Theodore. Now he's going to go to the top side, maybe try and find some momentum off the top like we've seen earlier. And Theodore is going to shut that down by riding up in front and shutting the door. Hanging on to 6th place. Now Galgan gets up near the door, and that's a close moment for both of them here as they battle down the back stretch going into 3. It is a side-by-side battle. Theodore going to send it a little bit deeper. He's got to hold it down there. Galgan with nice momentum there. Can he hold it off the top of the track? Car looks very stable, and he's going to get away. Trey Galgan finally makes that move happen, gets himself back into 6th place. Theodore now falling into the clutches of Jay Queen, who keeps bringing along Ray Richard to his credit. Ray Richard is not falling off this time. He's staying with the battle. Nothing changing up front. Your leader, Gabe Wood, now open it up to half a second. Unfortunately, Josh Bonwell, the big loser right now, I said he needed to get to the bumper of that Red Dog Ford Mustang as quickly as possible. He's not been able to do it. This has actually created a situation now that Cammer has started to close in on Josh Bonwell just a bit. Bonwell really got to be careful here that he doesn't throw this championship away. He's still got plenty of time here. 50 laps to go, 6th and 7th. The battle heating up. It's Galgan and Theodore again. Galgan back to his safe spot there up on the top side. Theodore trying to hold it on the bottom. Here comes Jay Queen, Ray Richard. They're doing more than watch this right now. They're trying to be active participants. Galgan still enjoying that top side, high, wide, and handsome. Theodore going to try and edge it out on the bottom. Not quite. Galgan's still got the edge. Into 3 to go. And that battle still not settled. A close moment for Theodore. That car tightened up a little bit on the bottom of the turn there. Had to check up just a bit. Jay Queen did the same. Jay's car definitely handling different. It's a different line. It's a different attack. No opportunity there to get around Theodore. Theodore still trying to find a way around Trey Galgan. Galgan just keeps plugging up the middle of the track, and every time Theodore's got to get out of the throttle for just a moment. He's got to crack that throttle, and it costs him the momentum. Jay Queen, because of that, continues to get a look at it. Let's go back up to the battle for a second, because I think it's on. I think it's finally on. Bonwell with a much better exit off of turn 2. Going to go down to the bottom here inside of Stanford, and he's going to clear him. In the center of the turn, he's going to clear Stanford, get himself up to second. Stanford, with a little bit of momentum, is going to try and fight back down the front stretch. I think it might be over, though. I think Bonwell got this cleared. He does. Into the center of turns 1 and 2. Bonwell starts to pull away. It's time to get to work. Time to get to work. 46 laps to go. That's how many laps he's got left to try and get this championship away from Gabe Wood. They will have to stop for tires and fuel. And then we see back here Ray Richard getting around Trey Galgan. Galgan starting to drop off a little bit. Richard all of a sudden manages to clear Queen, clear Galgan, and now Richard's got himself up in his 7th spot, right where he started this race. Galgan's car just seems to be dropping at the moment. They really moving backwards in this race after battling hard, and that might be it. It might be the fact that he was battling hard. Kyle Cammer coming into pits already with just 44 laps to go. I'm not sure if that's a scheduled stop or if he had picked up some damage. It seems like it would be a bit early to come in. Gabe Wood still got this by almost a second. Bonwell trying to close him up front. The time's very, very close as we watch Don Theodore. I will move back up to the front here. Bonwell trying to get to him. Stanford still hanging on. Stanford not giving up on a chance of getting that second spot. Let's go back to Theodore here real quick because, well, things are getting a little bit tricky again. Ray Richer, in fact, is going to pull away and get the spot. Ray Richer, where did you come from, buddy? You've been working on this the whole third stage. Richer now up into fifth. Theodore going to look to fight back to the back stretch. He had a nice draft, but then goes to the top side. Loses all that momentum when he got out of it. Now Jay Queen down there fighting to get that spot away, and Theodore's in the wall. Theodore gets the wall, coming out of 4, able to reel the car in, keep it going forward, but loses the time to Jay Queen. Here comes Trey Galgan, who we saw suffer. Now he gets to the left rear quarter panel of Theodore. Car pushing too much. Galgan can't hang on to it. He's got to get out of the throttle.
You know,
Richard, go ahead,
Sean,
Sam.
I just want to add this little tidbit in here. John Theodore is no stranger to throwing a strategy call, doing something different on strategy. Now that we saw him in the wall, and in fact we just saw him in the wall again on the front straight, I wonder if that's an indication that maybe he might want to try and be one of our first drivers to short pit here, try and see if he can play that strategy call here.
Well, Cameron short pitted, at least we think he did, and that has cost him a lap. So I don't know. We'll see. But if your car is not handling good, as Theodore has picked up right front damage, I would get it in, and I wouldn't slow down much longer or drop much further from the field, as Jay Queen has now separated himself by a second up in front of them. Ray Richards still the big surprise now, though, riding in fifth. After clearing Queen, he's good. He's got clean track in front of him as Campbell is a full 2.5 seconds away. Campbell, unfortunately, not making any progress on catching the pack in front of him. Bonwell starting to gain a little bit maybe on our leader, Gabe Wood. It's about 0.2 that last time by. Maybe Bonwell's car starting to handle a little bit better here deeper into the run.
Yeah, he's gained that 0.2 progressively over the last few laps, Sean. He's just picking off hundredths at a time, but he's doing it consistently. And number 56 is running the 0-0 down. And this is where I've been a little bit concerned as Gerald Campbell comes into the pits. Just to finish up this point, this is where I've been concerned for Gabe Wood all season long, as he seems to do really well in the opening 2 stages, but fades a little bit when the strategy cards get played in the final stage.
Mm-hmm. Fades or has incredibly bad luck. Yeah, and that's why we're not talking about more wins for Gabe Wood this season. As Campbell and Theodore are completing their pit stop, Sam, they get ready to come back out on track. Robert McFarland gets by Trey Galgan just now. McFarland getting himself up to 6th. Galgan finally going to bring that struggling car in, that Ford Mustang, definitely off pace, but he's in now, going to try and get that situated. Theodore still in the pit lane. He's out now. So there you go. Cameron, Campbell, Theodore all have been in. Trey Galgan's in there now, still finding his box. He's there.
And Kemmer is far and away ahead of Gerald Campbell, having pit just a few laps earlier.
Bonwell still closing here. I'll tell you what, he's setting himself up in good position for this pit stop. Boy, but that's what I don't like, is Bonwell having to make another pit stop. He's blown it. He's had 2 good opportunities this evening to stay with the leaders, and he's blown it both times. Now, he's worked himself back up, and that's been great, but boy, I'd say here in the closing laps of this race, you could ill afford a bad pit stop right now, Sam.
Well, with the way Carl Kemmer's trekked out on Gerald Campbell by pitting just a couple of laps early, I don't think Gabe Wood nor Josh Bonwell, and in fact, in comes Bonwell now. Wood, I think, unless he really wants to play a different strategy, I think Wood needs to come in next lap.
Well, Sam, I'm going to keep an eye on Bonwell here coming down the pit lane. We want to make sure he gets his pit stop clean. Boy, if ever he needed a clean stop, this is it. He needs to put it all together right here. The very, very slow 50-mile-an-hour ride down the pit lane.
Wood is coming in.
And Bonwell gets it right. He gets it right, slides into his box, on point. Right side's up, left side's to follow. We got to imagine. There we go. Left side is up. Fuel going in. And here we go. Bonwell is out with a nice, tidy stop there, Sam.
Yeah, so as he rolls out, Wood is coming in. Let's see how this 00 does at hitting his marks. He had a nice pit entry. So far, so good.
Boy, Cameron finds himself ahead of Gerald Campbell even right now, Sam.
Yeah, we saw that earlier, but Campbell being ahead of Bonwell, that's significant. And now Wood is rolling, and even just that one extra lap of tyres is going to move Bonwell ahead of Wood. And I don't... Boy, that is a huge gap. I mean, that now Wood has 1 lap newer tyres than Bonwell, but 1 lap newer with the gap that Wood is behind Bonwell. I'm not sure he's going to be able to run that down without a caution.
Well, Sam, Kyle Kammerer right now stands to be the next leader of this race. He with that early peel, late reveal is what we're guessing for Kammerer. He sits right now in third behind Jay Queen, Robert McFarland, who we both know we know are going to need to pit. They are the last 2 cars out there since the beginning of the 3rd stage, so they will need to pit. And well, Kammerer just got to keep his foot in it here and try and keep Campbell well in the mirror. It's down to 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Sean, because Campbell is coming so quickly. He's coming at like half a second a lap up on camera. Yep. Those 2 positions, I think, will easily switch in 5 laps. Likewise, Bonwell is gaining a couple of tenths a lap on Campbell, and Gabe Wood is faster than Bonwell right now. So all 4 of these drivers, as Trey Queen comes in from the lead, still waiting for McFarland to pit. And so all 4 of these drivers, Kammerer, Campbell, Bonwell and Wood, are closing in on another. Really, it's going to come down to who's the best overtaker, who's the best racing driver. And at the end of the day, Sean, isn't that what the championship is meant to be about?
It really is, Sam. Jay Queen is in. Just hit his box in for service. Kammerer now up to second. Everybody else going to go on by. Boy, Bonwell really closing now, Sam. He has really got a run here off of turn 2.
And Gerald Campbell, I have to try and hold on to this, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Bonwell is simply too fast, and he is going to pull the move off, complete the slide drop. Campbell might not even try to counter an attack here.
Boy, he slammed the door on him, Sam. He really, really did. Bonwell, though, owns that 3rd spot at the moment. Kammerer is under threat here. I just don't think the difference in tires is going to let Kammerer hold on to that spot like you talked about, Sam. He is a sitting duck, and the duck is, well, he's in the crosshairs, he's in the sights, and the duck is down. is down and is heading for the embankment on the side of the pond, as Josh Bonwell has found himself now in second. He's only chasing Robert McFarland, who's a full 18 seconds out in front of him. But Robert's got to come in for a pit stop. Josh Bonwell is now the leader of the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here from Homestead, Miami Speedway. Josh Bonwell with a chance to win the championship. They're battling behind him.
Yeah, this is huge, Sean, because Gabe Wood is the only driver who can beat Bonwell on pace. And of course, the problem was Wood needed to find a way by Campbell and Kemmer. He just did that. He knocked them both out in one turn. That's exactly what Wood needed to do.
Well, Wood's got, a little over 25 laps to figure this out. Yeah, and Wood was not good before the pit stop. He wasn't good riding behind. We talked about his struggles late in races, Sam. Let's see if the magic is there for Gabe Wood this evening.
Oh, he has one extra lap on tyres. I didn't think that would be enough to run Bonwell down, but he has been closing on him. The problem is, Sean, is we talk about this being the Dirty Air on Twitch 200. Well, the Dirty Air is going to be on Wood's nose very shortly as he gets closer and closer to Bonwell. And that extra lap of goodness on those Goodyear tyres will wear off in a hurry once he does get in that aero weight.
I love it too. In the YouTube chat, we've got all kinds of fans. We've got Josh Bonwell fans. We've got Ray Richard fans. Amy Campbell is here supporting Gerald. Sam, it's a fan fest on the YouTube chat. Everybody's got their favorite, and right now Bonwell, just doing his level best to keep Gabe Wood back there in the mirror, at least keep him in the Dirty Air when he gets there.
There's two battles going on throughout the field, one for seventh between Theodore and Galgan. But really, honestly, Sean, I want to keep a focus on our drivers in second and third right now, because Wood running down Bonwell in the last 20 laps or so of this race is really, without a caution, is what's going to decide this championship.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Sam. It is. And listen, Gabe Wood's great. He's awful good. We've seen it all season, but again, he's just not had an incredible amount of luck. So hopefully Lady Luck riding with him, at least hopefully for his fans and for him, Lady Luck riding on board this evening with that Chevrolet Camaro. Josh Bonwell still wheeling it in front of him, the Ford Mustang, experimenting with a different line, and it's not costing him any time at the moment. Again, race fans, we're still waiting on Robert McFarland. That gap was 18 seconds at one point. It is now down to 8.7, closing quickly. Bonwell catching him with Gabe Wood in tow. Campbell not making up a lot of ground there in third at the moment. Oh, Stanford in a bit of a battle with him now, actually. Sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, so what we're seeing here at Homestead Miami Speedway right now, as we're watching this battle for fourth place, which will essentially be for third, Robert McFarland is leading the race in the beaten and battered car. He's obviously hoping for a caution right now, Sean, because then everyone would have to pit. He might have a chance of a win.
Sure.
Wood is running down Bonwell for second place. That essentially is a race for the championship. If anything happens to those two, Gerald Campbell, who has lost out on that battle for Eric Stanford, he's our third driver racing out here for a playoff championship. And boy, this race has been so exciting. It's gotten me all queasy just thinking about it as we enter our last 20 laps. I think I'm going to get our good friend Nicholas Schmeck to take it over here, Sean.
Yeah, we'll get Nick in here with us. Nick, thanks for joining us. Sam, go lay down, okay? Folks, Sam's been really fighting through this one, unfortunately, not feeling so hot, but we wish him well. He'll be okay, and he'll be back on another GSRC broadcast soon. Nick, welcome aboard here. I know you're just catching up. Right now, we're waiting on Robert McFarland to pit his Ford Mustang. He's been out there for now 45 laps, working on 46. Josh Bonwell holding down second. Gabe Wood still stuck at about 7/10. That's where the gap remains. Between these two, it is a battle for the championship right now that we're talking about. Josh Bonwell, Gabe Wood, Gerald Campbell lurking back there, but boy, he's dropping time every lap, Nick.
Yeah, this is a great race. I've been watching just the last couple of laps here, but Gabriel Wood really looking like he's got Josh Bonwell in sights. I mean, he really wants to get there, obviously, and I'm very curious to see if he's going to be able to in these final laps.
Only 16 to go at the line. Man, what a race we've had here tonight at Homestead, Miami. Eric Stanford holding on a fourth right now. Gerald Campbell, again, continues to drop back. In fact, Campbell is now finding himself possibly in a battle here with Kyle Cameron, who would love to get back up into the top 5 of this field. Well, it's sitting right in front of him. All he's got to do is pass Gerald Campbell to get it done. Boy, yeah. Campbell had been so good, Nick, and just seems to have not handled the late run of this race.
Yeah, easier said than done. I mean, I know he's only got to pass one car, but you know, or he's only got to pass a couple of them. Can't be able to get up there, but
okay, hang on. We gotta go. We gotta go here up front as Robert McFarland, I believe, is about to give up this lead to Gabe Wood. I'm sorry, to Josh Bonwell. Yep, McFarland obviously a lot slower there off turn 3. It's going to drop to the bottom and give it to Bonwell on the top side. Down the front stretch, Bonwell. Now, your leader. 14 laps to go, Nick. Can Josh Bonwell hang on to this thing?
Like I just said, I mean, it's easier said than done. I'm sure he's feeling confident, but also, you know, it's nerve-wracking. It's a track that you've run over 115 laps here, 119 laps so far, and you know, it's nerve-wracking. You get in such a muscle memory, and it's a track that you have so rehearsed, but you know, these final couple of laps are going to seem like the longest for Josh Bonwell tonight.
And McFarland finally bringing his Ford Mustang into the pit lane. This has given complete control of this race now to Josh Bonwell and Gabe Wood. And Gabe Wood, with 13 laps to go, has got about 1.1 seconds of work to do here to catch Josh Bonwell and make this a fight. McFarland still holding down third. Gerald Campbell still holding down fourth, but just barely. Camera is really found the back door of Gerald Campbell. I got a feeling these next 12 laps are going to be all that Gerald can handle. Campbell's obviously going to need a lot of help here from the drivers battling in front of him to get a chance to win this championship. Gap up front actually opening up just a bit that last time around. Bonwell opens it up by another 10th.
Yeah, Bonwell's got that clean air now. That's going to help him, if anything. Gabriel Wood, though, I mean, he's got to start coming now. I mean, he doesn't have much time left, so if he's going to start making a late charge, he's got to go.
Yeah, he's going to have to get on his horse for sure. That battle between Cameron and Campbell, I think it's really come to a head here. Cameron now starting to get serious about trying to pull a move. They chase each other down the back straightaway. Cameron going to look to the bottom of the track, get into that lower center groove. Campbell, good job holding on, keeping the momentum up there around the top side. And Campbell's going to own that spot here with 10 to go. Up front, we've got to look at that gap, and it still remains, well, at least comfortable for the leader, Gabe Wood, trying to catch. But, man, it's now 1.3 going to 1.4 seconds as Bonwell continues to open it up a little bit more every lap. All right. Bonwell, now with just 9 laps to go and a championship in his sights. I'm starting to wonder if Gerald Campbell's got anything left in the Chevy Camaro. Got a little bit of damage on the right front. That's honestly what might be preventing him from catching Josh Bonwell, Nick. Nick having a technical issue there. He'll sort it out. We'll keep the action going up front or in back. It doesn't matter. This is really where we're focused now, and it's Gabe Wood's ability or non-ability to catch our leader, Josh Bonwell. Gabe's car looks so strong for really the more than first half of this race. Hasn't been here until just late. He had to work so hard to get around Robert McFarland earlier, or not McFarland, but I'm sorry, it was chasing earlier. It was, well, maybe it was McFarland, but it just hasn't worked out for him here late. It's still 1.4 seconds with only 7 laps to go. Josh Bonwell starting to smell the victory, the championship. Nothing's over yet. Poor Eric Stanford just stuck there in third all by himself. What a tremendous run. He started this in 8th this evening.
Yeah, Josh Bonwell is just a few more laps now to go to the championship, and he's just cruising now. He's taking that middle line of the track, real conservative. Don't want to get close to the wall. Don't want to take any risks. You don't have to be super fast right now. You just got to stay clean, stay out front.
Oh no! Kyle Cameron with trouble off of turn 4. Oh no! And Gerald Campbell got checked up, and he was loose and sideways. Gerald Campbell was sideways behind Cameron. Wow, we've got a replay of this. This got crazy. Then after this replay, maybe I don't know if we'll have enough time to go on board with Robert McFarland, but there's Cameron in the wall. He comes down off the wall. Campbell's got to check up. His car was sideways. Very fortunate. Here we go. There's on board with McFarland. Campbell in that yellow and white car just in front of him. Watch that car break sideways. Right now, you'll see it. And boy, what a save by Gerald Campbell. Good job by McFarland working through that, but Kyle Cameron now owns 4th place. He's pulling away. Now let's go to
those 3 drivers there are very fortunate for not wrecking, but I think the driver most fortunate here is Josh Bonwell for the caution not flying after a potential wreck.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and that might have put us in a situation of a green-white checker there. I don't know, not a lot of laps left, but 3.5 here for Bonwell to get this done, and he continues to pull away from Gabe Wood. Gabe Wood pedaling as hard as he can, but it's just not enough. Josh Bonwell has found another gear. Climbing the mountain. A long season, the championship in sight. 3 to go. Poor Gerald Campbell, who stayed in this fight for most all 3 stages, now finds himself back in 5th, trying to hang on to it. And, boy, Josh Bonwell looking better than he has all night. Still a 2.5 seconds. Gabe Wood's got just 2 laps to mount any kind of a charge here, Nick.
Yeah, there's not much Gabe Wood can do there except, stay back, ride conservatively. Well, he's not riding conservatively. He's driving the wheels off that Camaro right now. But, there's not much he can do except watch Josh Bonwell cruise to victory right now. Hope he makes a mistake or, hope for a freak accident. Maybe he gets in the wall or something. But, a solid performance tonight by Gabe Wood to go to P2. And unfortunately for him, though, not much he can do right now.
And the yellow freight Ford Mustang is going to come out of turn 4. It's going to come across the start-finish line. It's going to get the white flag. 1 to go, folks. The Dirty Air on Twitch 200 tonight. Homestead, Miami Speedway for all the marbles. Here in the Simulation Stock Car Association. The final ride here for the Challenger Series, the AdPro 360 Challenger Series. Josh Bonwell takes it into 3. Opens the lead up to 1.6 seconds. He's in the middle of the turn. 1 to go out of 4. Josh Bonwell, boy, he started on the front row, and he's going to finish at the top of the pack. Josh Bonwell is your winner tonight at Homestead, Miami Speedway, and your champion of the AdPro 360 Challenger season. Gabe Wood is going to fall just a little bit short this evening. finished second with Eric Stanford, who had a great run tonight with a top 3 on the podium. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to them all. What a race. Very competitive, and folks, we had no caution flags for an incident. So we got this one mean green and all the way to the finish. We're going to take a quick break on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll be back to talk to some drivers and crown a champion here in the AdPro 360 Challenger Series. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel. Race fans, the final race tonight is in the books. The final race of the AdPro 360 Challenger Series tonight. They just completed the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here this evening. Dirty Air Studios, our great sponsor this evening. But let's look at the results of this great race and blow through them here pretty quickly because we've got drivers waiting to be interviewed, and one of them is a champion. Josh Bonwell is going to be your winner and champion for 2018 in the AdPro 360 Challenger Series. Gabe Wood is going to finish second in those standings. Third, going to go to Eric Stanford. Kyle Kammer with a top 5 run. He'll finish fourth. And Gerald Campbell has to hold on to a top 5 there in fifth. The number 6 tonight comes up short on his championship dreams. Nick, take the rest of the field.
Yeah, like you said, Jay Queen going to face 6th there. Ray Rich are going to be behind him in 7th in the 44 car. John Theodore is going to come right behind him in 8th, and behind him, Trey Galligan in 9th place. Those are all your lead lap finishers tonight. Robert McFarland, we've seen him all year, heard his name a lot. In the number 41 car, he's just going to finish a lap down in 10th. And then Will Davis in the 11 ran into some unfortunate early trouble, and he's going to finish deep in the pack in 11th.
All right, Nick. I think we'll talk to the champ first. I think that's fitting. We'll get down to victory lane here and catch up with the yellow freight driver of that Ford Mustang GT. Congratulations, Josh Bonwell. You are the champion and the winner of this final race at Homestead. How do you feel? Well, he's absolutely speechless right now. The words are hard to come by. Josh, we're trying to get the MRN microphone away from his face and get him onto the GSRC microphone. And we'll give him just a moment more. If we have to, we'll move on to one of our other finishers, and then we'll get back to Josh. Josh, can you hear me, buddy?
Oh, yep, there I am.
And there he is. Technology achieved. There we go. Josh, I don't know how much of what I said you heard, but congratulations, sir.
Oh no, yeah, I heard it. Man, I tell you, it's hard to believe still. I'm kind of in a state of shock. It was a great race and a great season with these guys, and Josh,
you blew those first 2 pit stops. You totally blew it, man. But you made that last one count, didn't you?
Yeah, and me and Gerald even said something about it in the race. We were just like, man, we're just giving it to him on these stops, and I knew that last one I had to beat.
Yeah, Josh, great job. When did you know that you had an opportunity to win this race?
Oh, when I was catching Gabe there just before that last pit stop, I said, man, I'm catching him. If I can get in before him and have a great stop, I think I've got it. And it went just the way I needed it to. I said, I'm going out on lap 98, and it all fell.
So you had a strategy. Let's talk about the line around the track. Where do you think the best line was? It was obviously it was working in both spots. We saw passes from the top side, from the middle groove, and even from the bottom. Where was your favorite?
I felt the most comfortable up there on the top line, but really that's what I love about this place. You can put it down there on the bottom and make it stick. You can run it up high. It's a fun race.
How bad was that southeast wind heading down into turn 1? It was really much of a factor. I know it was gusting at times.
I didn't notice it a lot. It seemed like I noticed some pushes coming out of turn 2 on occasion. Nothing really into 1.
Well, Josh, you win the championship. What are you going to do now? You don't have to go to Disney World, I promise.
No, I'm not going to Disney World. I'm going to work tomorrow, and just going to head into the off season and, soak it in.
Well, Josh, again, our congratulations. I'm sure you've got a short list, maybe even a long list of sponsors and friends you'd like to thank. Go for it.
I want to thank my team, Turn 4 Racing, Gary and SSCA, GSRC, you guys here, you put on a great show every week. My mom, my girl.
All right, Josh, and we thank you. We do thank Josh's mom and his grandma. Josh's mom, a regular here in the YouTube chat. Josh, best to you, and again, congratulations. And now, Nick, well, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you talk to Gabe Wood. And well, it didn't end the way Gabe wanted. It ended strong, but, well, Nick, you go ahead and catch up with him.
Yeah, it did not end the way I'm sure Gabe Wood would like it to be. 1.66 seconds was the gap to Josh Bonwell there. Gabe, walk me through that race. I mean, you're fast. You got a fast car. You started on the pole. A lot of green flag, a lot of pit stops. Just walk me through that race for you.
Yeah, it was a good race. I hate that, I lost the championship, but, I mean, the thing was on a rail the first 2 stages and the final stage. But came in for the pit stop, and I knew I was going to have my work cut out for me as soon as Josh came in the pits 1 lap before me. I had planned on coming in at lap 100, and he pitted, and I heard it over the radio, and I'm like, snap my fingers. I knew it was going to be a tough road ahead, and I came out like 3 seconds behind him, and I made it up to about half a second, maybe 0.4 of a second, and then the tires just gave out, and he had that outside lane cooking. But the race was so much fun, man. But that's pretty much been the tail of my season. Lead the first 2 stages and give it away in the end. But I'm glad Josh got the championship. He's been racing with these guys for a long time, and he certainly deserves it.
Yeah, well, we were watching you put up a heck of a fight there in the last couple of green flag laps. Those last 10 to 20 laps, did you have anything for him? Were you trying to push real hard, or what did you have for him there at the end?
Oh no, that thing was driving like a hot bag of whale excrement. Oh, it was a dump truck with 4 blown tires and 2 sway bars missing. It was awful. And, about 15 laps ago, that's when the car started to get bad because I had just pushed so much trying to catch Josh. And I think that's what I need to work on during the offseason, get some official sessions. If somebody's in front of me, pace myself. I don't have to get everything at once, and I think that's what really did me in. But that's my one regret about this race. But, heck, it's been a heck of a season. Can't wait to go for it again next year.
All right. Well, when iRacing scans the dump truck with 4 blown tires, we'll definitely expect you to be at the top of that series.
I'll be the first one to put out a setup for
it. We've seen you in a lot in the SSCA series. Obviously, we expect you to keep doing these. Obviously, we expect you to keep hopping in these interviews because you have found quite a lot of speed and success. The last time this year in the Challenger Series, though, anyone you want to give a shout out to or thank you to?
A couple of people. Shout out to the Double H Ranch. All of my winnings from this year, I'm donating to the Double H Ranch. It's a charity up in New York. They help underprivileged and mentally handicapped children. Was part of the Victory Junction Gang Camp. They do pretty much the same thing, but in the upstate New York area. So I'm going to be donating my stuff to them. Snow Motorsports, Michael Snow. We're going to come back next year, a lot stronger and a lot more involvement in the series and more serious effort. Thanks to Ray and you guys up in the booth, and I think that's about it. I hate the championship ended like this, but I'm definitely ready to go back at it.
All right. Well, that's an awesome cause you're driving for. You definitely made all of those folks up there proud. One thing.
If you guys want to pull Josh Bonwell back in here real quick, if he's still here, I got a little surprise for him.
Yeah,
I got a little surprise for him.
Okay, well, Josh, can you hear us? Gabe wants to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there he is.
All right, Josh. On behalf of the SSCA XFINITY Series and the AdPro Challenge Series, you're going to be getting a NASCAR XFINITY Series diecast official from the SSCA Series. It's got your name on it, and it's going to be pretty much your trophy for the.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep. And my only problem is I have to find the box for it. So as soon as I find the box and get it made, it'll be sent.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Gabe.
Yep. All right, guys. Sorry, Sean.
No, I was just gonna say thanks, Gabe. That's actually really cool, man. Yeah, Bonwell gonna walk away with a NASCAR diecast. What's the scale on that diecast?
It's a 124 diecast, custom designed by Gary and custom built by me. It's gonna be, NASCAR the Sprint Series, Sprint Cup. They always released a generic paint scheme with the racing series logos and stuff. It's basically the gist of what we're gonna have here, but it's gonna have Josh's name on it. A couple of sponsors here and there to kind of have it personalized for him, but it'll be his trophy for winning the 2017 or 2018 championship.
All right. Well, hey, listen, that's awesome, and we thank you, Gabe Wood. We thank Josh Bonwell. We've got one last driver to talk to, and it was an interesting night for him. Trey Galligan. We saw him fight with just about everybody in the field. That fighting, though, winds up with a 9th place finish. Get a little bit too much damage on the car there to be real competitive at the end, Trey.
Yeah, just hit the wall there coming with like 3 to go, but it was a pretty fun race. Man, that high line, can I just say that high line really came in after the second, or actually in the middle of that second stage, and ever since that high line came in, we were able to start passing people, keeping up with people. I struggled in that first stage with how tight I was getting, but I was able to keep up with them on that high line, and coming home with the 9th place finish, I'll take that here in the final race.
Yeah, listen, we had a lot of fun watching the Copper Hill Ford all season. You know what? I said it when we started this interview. You had an interesting race because you were always racing somebody. Had to have been wicked fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Me and John, we were going at it basically all second stage. Actually, sorry, basically all third stage, the last stage. We were going back and forth. It was a blast run that high line, like I said, because John will get the edge, and then I'll just come on that high side and get it right back. So it was really fun out there.
Well, you know what? It's been fun watching you run, watching you compete all season, Trey. It's been fun talking to you. We've had you in the booth several times, and you're always a good interview. I'm going to give you one last shot here, though, as we close out the AdPro 360 Challenger Series, for you to thank your fans, your friends, family, and any of your important sponsors.
Yeah, always like to thank Cop Hill Public House, man. They jumped on board probably at the beginning. Actually, yeah, it was at the beginning of the season. Great people to work with. And I would like to congratulate Josh on the championship this year. I wish I would have been battling for that, but that's unfortunate with the mishap at Kansas in round of 8. But congratulations to Josh, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, listen, thank you again, Trey. And we've got a lot of people to thank tonight. First, I want to thank Nick for coming in and helping us out there. Sam not feeling too well for most of this broadcast this evening, so we gave him the rest of it off. He'll be fine, folks. Say just a little stomach feeling uneasy. He'll be cool. Listen, again, lots of people to thank. I want to just start by thanking some of the sponsors we've had all season. Paradigm Technology, a great sponsor here in the AdPro 360 series. Romonti, Landscape and Designs. Impact, business process optimization there. Top Shelf Auto Detailing. The NASCAR Diecast Lounge, NDL. Can't forget about them. They were with us this season. And, of course, we want to thank our sponsor tonight, Dirty Air Studios. This has been the Dirty Air on Twitch 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Dirty Air Studios, they're an iRacing media production company that provides top-of-the-line professional videos, graphics, pictures, and paints. For all things sim racing, visit them on Facebook, Dirty Air Studios. That's how you find them. And, folks, of course, we do want to thank simspeedshop.com for their sponsorship of the Pole Award all season, their custom button boxes. We'd like to thank all of the organizers and all the competitors for the Simulated Stock Car Association and the AdPro 360 Challenger Series for coming out here tonight and putting on a great show and a great season here in 2018. Folks, AdPro 360, they're an advertising agency that specializes in digital and social media marketing. For more information, visit their website at adproresults.com. We'd like to thank all the companies that provide the software and hardware for these broadcasts. You see them there on your screen. Take note of them, folks. We want to thank Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, those two who provide us with this great music. See the screen for how to get a hold of them and more of their great work. I want to thank the team today, especially Sam. Sam, I hope you get feeling better, buddy. I want to thank Nick for coming in. Joe, I want to thank you for directing this all season. It's been wonderful. The great Dougie Beard. Listen, name your favorite artist. Dougie's better, okay? These camera sets he puts together for us here at GSRC are second to none. If you'd like more information about us, the Global SimRacing Channel, well, start at our website, Global SimRacing Channel. You won't get bored there, but you can start there, and then you can find us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at GSR Channel for Twitter, Facebook, and just type in Global SimRacing Channel. Instagram, GSRC_Graham. If you haven't taken time to subscribe to us, do that now on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to send you away. Go watch the Lionheart IndyCar Series now. The green flag hasn't even dropped. They're at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this evening for a great race there, the Skidmark 200 on the iRacing Esports Network. If you're not subscribing to them, just type them in here in your YouTube search bar. You'll find them. You'll get over there. You'll see the race live as it's happening right now. Folks, that's it. We're done. The AdPro 360 Challenger Series is officially over and closed, as they will move over to Podium next season, podium.com. We also have the upcoming races for our other series listed on your screen. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.